Like,
yeah.
and if I run through material I already know works, I can really lean into the performance aspect of it.
Got you.
Just
I
get
don't.
fucking weird with it.
I'm like real worried about it because I'm like I don't fucking remember all my jokes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it starts tomorrow, or is it just Friday, Saturday?
Oh no. I'm not this week, but next week. So I keep telling myself I'm gonna go back and like study over myself, but I don't fucking like practice. I've never done that. Like just sit at home and like practice jokes. So I know I need to, so that way I can fucking remember it. Like this is totally different than normal, so I feel like I need to, but I don't know. Knowing me, I'm just gonna procrastinate and then just get up there and be like, oh god, let's wing it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe then they won't book you next time and they'll book me instead. So keep it up, bud.
You're
Keep
like,
it.
do that.
Oh,
Yeah, I encourage it.
yeah. Be less of a competition for me. I would appreciate that. Keep wearing the shirt you're wearing
For a little
and
industry.
never think about your jokes before you tell them.
What did you say, Allison?
I said that's called a business referral in this industry. Keep it up. Luke's going to be full time in no time. Sorry, I was a little lagged today. Is my connection okay? It seemed like it was being really shitty a second ago.
It's good. We're good now.
Okay.
So,
Like
all
really
right.
loud though. Like if you can stop yelling at us, that'd be great.
Yeah, you loud as fuck. I said that more aggressively than I meant to. Ken and I, we've been going back and forth, and I throw it at you.
I truly am hurt by it. I expect a written apology next week.
Oh no! I am not. So I'll draw you a postcard apology, but it's
Okay, the postcard has to have a dick on it. That's all I'll accept.
I was actually going to tell you most of my postcards are exclusively made of dick drawing. So
That's why he can't feature at the club this weekend because the dick drawings. Like
Got it. That
I
makes
like to
sense.
send thank you notes, but some people don't appreciate being thanked as much as I thought.
some people don't appreciate art. All right.
So okay, look, the way you get around it is you send dick pic postcards, and then when someone gets mad, you tell them it's a self portrait, and then it's art.
That's fucking genius. I'm gonna tell my wife that next time I send out a dick pic to somebody else. So
Just send your dick. Make sure your dick pics are just shot in black and white, because then it's like
And it's artsy.
I was being artistic. So it's like I'm trying to be avant-garde. You want to avant-garde this dick? All right. I'm feeling hopeful. I'm feeling hopeful. Hopeful. Everything
you
in
try
my
that.
future.
Try that. Try that tonight, man. See if that works out.
Hey, you guys ever want to be avant-garde with this dick?
Good opener, I think.
Yeah, start strong.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go grab a refill on my drink.
I'm actually very proud of Skype for not even making me download it to use it. I swear, like the reason I'm like or I have been so anti-Skype is like I thought I had a username in like middle school or something, and it just has not let me log in like since I graduated high school, and it just tells me I'm wrong and not having an account, and I've been too stubborn to make a new one ever since. So that's my monologue on why Skype sucks.
Is this freezing up for anyone? Like Luke, you're just all frozen and pixelated mostly.
It finally looks good for me. We were all frozen and pixelated for a while.
Maybe it'll take me a while. I just signed back on. I don't know. Okay.
Allison, you got video though, right?
Yeah. I could see
No.
Luke, but he's no.
I see big Luke.
Yeah, I just see Luke.
But it's probably because I'm using it on the web. I'm not using like that.
I'm using an app, and I'm not seeing anything besides Brandon. You're in the middle. Maybe.
Oh.
Yeah. There we go.
It just went dark.
Yeah, it's dark. It's so choppy. Hmm.
Well, we'll see. This might be.
Okay.
What if don't like this. It's gonna be obnoxious.
It's just
Well,
black.
It's just black screen right now.
I can see everyone's icons in the top right, but yeah.
Ooh, that's better. Yeah, we got all 3 shots. I can, yeah.
I cannot, but maybe it'll take a minute because everything's slower on my side.
No, I'm sending you a picture right now on it or on Facebook.
I wonder if it's my internet, which is pretty fast.
So Ken, when were you were gonna change your shirt to a better shirt?
Right, I quit, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
No.
You see my shirt? It's tie-dye, and it says it is what it is. You see that? It's a pretty cool shirt. I think it is.
Black Lives Matter, but that shirt does not. Sorry. It was the only joke. All right, I take it back.
I'm recording right now, and I'm just gonna cut that so that way it says that it does not. And I'm ruining your career, Luke. So
What career?
No.
No, I'm gonna switch to my laptop.
I can see it.
I can see the low bro high talks. Now I see Luke and Allison.
I just see Luke.
Allison, maybe you should try fixing your thing.
I never said mine wasn't the problem. I just said fuck Skype, so they're punishing me, honestly.
What's
They
happening?
heard you. No, I just see the background with the countdown at Oh, okay. Well then, yeah. Right now.
Hell yeah.
Uh-oh.
Hello, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the second episode of Wait What with Luke. Hope you're all doing well. This is an attack weekly show. It's been in the works for a little while. It's a little bit of marijuana, a little bit of idiocy around it. I should speak on sort of things with we can exactly see weird things going on in the United States as of I don't know if noticed a lot of press like the police treatment of African Americans, and so it's to be doing with a white guy with my face just being like, hey, weed's fun, isn't it? While people are still in prison for basically doing the exact same thing. So we kicked we didn't do that last week. We're doing it this week, but all donations you can send will be sent straight to Black Lives Matter. I mean, it's a serious thing. There's a lot of unfortunate things taking place in our country. I don't know about you, but I've watched a lot of videos the last couple weeks and been very uncomfortable, which I think is the appropriate reaction to have as a white person. But you didn't come here to do a race. Meaty things, and I'm going to take a clip and break it down at the beginning. I have a couple comics. I got Allison Vodovich. There we go. I hate names that are hard to say, like my name is hard to say. Vodovich, and then Ken Hamlet. They'll be on later. I'll interview them. But first, I would like to show a clip, and I'm sure you've seen it before, but you can have Brandon play that.
They deserve the welfare. No, it's fine. Oh, yeah. Nothing to talk about.
From 2 years ago. Okay, so I thought it was good to just be reminded that sometimes I can get punished. It is awful. I remember 2 years ago seeing this and just thinking like a cartoon. Because, like, it looks absurd. The dude is wearing an arm patch, like a Nazi swastika on his arm. He's holding up his hands and be like, hey, man, I mean, I know I just said some terrible shit, but, like, no need to get angry about it. And then just gets knocked the fuck out. It's delightful. And I stumbled across this yesterday, actually, because a good buddy of mine who lives in Seattle sent me the clip. He just stumbled across it on Reddit. And he sent me a clip, and he was just like, yo, man, this is the dude that him and his buddy Sean, both black men, interacted with 2 years ago in Seattle, in West Seattle. They had an altercation with this dude. He was at an open mic, just said a bunch of terrible racist stuff, and they got in a physical altercation. Cops didn't show up or do anything. And I don't know. I just wanted to bring it up. Be like, hey, punch some Nazis. It's a viable thing. If you see someone wearing a fucking swastika, I think it's open season. You can fucking elbow drop them in the face. And if you're wearing it ironically, man, turns out you're going to get punched ironically too. So, I don't know. I just wanted to bring light to that again. And let's move on. That wasn't as funny of an opening as I was hoping it was going to be. I thought. You guys, sorry. I'm feeling very guilty as a white person right now. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Not that on stage? Like, what? I don't know what to do. I don't know. I thought about this though. Is that like I thought of an old joke that I never really finished out all the way. But I do think I try. I don't know about other like white people, but I try just as like a white dude. I try to preemptively like check my own privilege before I do something because I feel like that is something we should be doing. Being aware of our station in life and how other people might not have the advantages that we have, and so it skews our perspective on things. And I think that's the appropriate thing to do. I also think that if you're checking your own privilege, then you don't only have a white guy telling you what to do. So it's a win-win. Okay, maybe shouldn't have thrown that joke in there. All right, we're gonna move on. All right, we're gonna bring on your first, our first, everyone's first guest of the show tonight. Please welcome to the stage, Allison Votovich.
There you go. Nice. I sent a literal voice recording to Luke to show him how to say the name, and he was like, yep, still going to mess it up. So that's where we're at.
In my defense, most people say my last name incorrectly for like 3 years.
That's fair.
So,
yeah, most people say my last name incorrectly for my entire life. So.
And not me by like way more, but okay. So how have you been in the last couple months with everything?
As your resident person to become the next Karen, it's been great. Yeah. No, I've just been as quiet as possible because that's my job right now, and it should be. So I appreciated your opening, and Ken and I our show proceeds tomorrow night are going to be donated to Black Lives Matter as well. And but I also think that the world could use some laughs right now, so I'm excited to be here, and I appreciate you asking me on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's been a sort of a weird thing. I simultaneously don't want to be quiet, but I'm also like, people don't need to hear my opinion. So
I've just been the queen of reposting, like just any like sources that are valid. I've just been resharing what they're saying. Like, here, you guys said it better. Meet my people now. Here you go.
Pass along. Here's smart words. Read them, please.
Yeah,
that's good. I've been trying to do that some too. It's just, I don't know. Just it's very overwhelming just being online and being like, oh, just everything's a dumpster fire, and I need to jump in.
Yep.
That's my obligation.
Yeah, it's made me rethink my career in social media a little bit. I literally run like a dozen social media accounts across different platforms for different companies, and it's been very interesting to have to basically do that on all of the platforms.
That sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
Well, to sort of stay on subject with the show, like marijuana, what you like?
I didn't know transitions were your strong suit. That was good, Luke.
Yeah, I say, wait,
what?
No, but like, no, so I'm not good at segues. But like, hey, weed, what's up with that and you?
I do want. I like it. That's where we can start. It's a good time. It's a nice plant. We're friends.
How do you use it? What is your preference?
I was gonna say orally, like I smoke.
Yeah.
That was literally the first word that came to my head. Yeah, no, so it was funny because when you told me about the show, I was like, shit, I feel like all of my weed stories are boring because, like, until probably 4 or 5 months ago, I was just like, I smoked weed to become a zombie and go to sleep. Like, and it doesn't matter what kind, like, I just,
It just knocked you down?
yeah. And recently, though, I feel like I've become newly acquainted with it, and I can like finally stay awake and enjoy it for a little bit.
I was gonna guess that you were the like similar to me in that like you get high and then you're like, I need to go do things now.
I wish. So like that was actually like one of my stories I was gonna tell is like one of my best friends is that way, and she is like the first time we smoked together, she was super against it for a long time, and the first time we smoked together, she like didn't know what the fuck to do with herself. She was like, it was like 11 at night. She's like, let's go dancing. Like she's writing out business plans, like doing all of this shit. And I was like, nah, I'm going to sit on this couch.
Did she do cocaine instead?
I hope so. But no, she truly is like that.
I smoke a little bit of a sativa and then I start coming up with business ideas. Like you,
right?
I know. We need to work.
So perfect for Austin. She's like, let's go do a thinkubator right now. Let's start a startup. Like
a thinkubator?
Thinkubator. That is a word that I learned recently, and I wanted to shoot myself in the face.
Why did you pass it along to us?
Because I needed to release the burden. You're welcome.
Oh, dude. Thinkubator. That sounds like as if you're having like an intellectual conversation while masturbating with someone.
Except you need to reel a line of cocaine and drink some local craft beer at the tap in your like community workspace first. That's how that works.
I've never been to Austin, but is that in line with Austin?
That's just startup culture.
Startup culture. That sounds like caveman shit.
Literally, Austin is like if San Francisco was allowed to like have cowboy boots. That's basically what it's turned into.
No one's stopping San Francisco, honestly.
That's true.
Step up your game. So when you usually partake, it's usually just a bit of a downer. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, usually it's like I don't have anything important to do the rest of the day. It's not necessarily like right before bed anymore. And sometimes I will challenge myself to like do it at a party and not be lame. But yeah, so typically it's like I know I'm gonna get quiet.
That can be it is funny that is like a challenge. Like you're like, I'll do a bunch of shots, I'll drink, I'll do whatever at a party. But you're like, if I hit that joint, I have to be aware.
That's actually like a good first story I had was like my boyfriend does marketing stuff. And at the time he was working for this guy who like it was a work weekend thing. And he rented out this badass place in the Hollywood Hills. And like, my boyfriend had to go to like set up, like he was doing a lot of the filming of the event and things. And I was allowed to come with them and like stay at this house in the Hollywood Hills. Like we're talking like Leo DiCaprio was our neighbor for a few days. It was awesome. And but it's also California. And I was like, fucking yeah, like I can't be in California without being high. And so like I go to the weed shop and my best friend and I, like that night he threw a party and she was like, come smoke with me. And she's functional on it. And so we like split this super strong California joint. And I just like, I'm pretty sure I passed out by like 11. And we're talking like this place had a dance floor. It had like all of these badass people in it. And they're doing like fun drugs, like like not the lame stuff, but like the fun stuff that keeps you up all night. And I totally just didn't even know. And so I was like in the middle of this badass party in a once in a lifetime house and just passed the fuck out at like 11.
That's like going to a super high caliber banquet and then you ate an appetizer, got food poisoning, and had to stay in the bathroom the whole time.
That's a great analogy.
It's so disappointing.
It was bad. And then the next morning my boyfriend was like, he was like, why did you go to bed so early? I kind of wanted to like party with you. And I was like, dude, you should have told me you were doing fun stuff before you let me hit a joint. And let me know.
What you got to warn? That's a good lesson. Warn everyone if you're going to be doing fun drugs later if they have a low tolerance for marijuana, because maybe they want to do a little Molly with you later, and you're like,
I'm also just kind of glad I fell asleep before they offered anything to me because I don't want to know what would have happened if I was high and then also took Molly. Like,
you would have been more aware of what was happening around you. I'm sure you would have been
that's
aware.
true. But what if I just like leveled out to be normal and then we just spent like $200 for me to be normal?
I don't know. At least you should be at a party normal around a bunch of fun people and be like, yes, I am a person, instead of being like, it's nap time.
That's fair.
Right,
That's
cool.
fair.
Well, Allison, did you bring some marijuana for this evening?
I did some for, well, yeah, I'm in California right now.
Obviously.
And I did go to the weed shop and get some of the plant medicine.
Awesome.
Like they call it.
Well, if you would do me a favor and maybe smoke some of that, I'll talk to Ken and then come back later.
Hell yeah.
Sounds good. All right. And then next comic coming on stage or into my living room from his living room. There you go. It's Ken Hamlin. What's up, buddy?
Yo, what's up?
How you doing, man?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Good. All right. I don't want to be a weird white person, but like, how are you doing this week, Fred?
It was so hard not to respond when you guys were talking. I was like,
dude, as our conversation kept going, I was like, it's mighty white, it's mighty white, it's mighty white.
I was like, let me just let these white people drown in their guilt. Let
us play all about. We're good. Oh, not gonna say that joke. Okay, moving on. I was gonna say we're good at swimming. That's all I was gonna say.
I set that up for you. That's alley-oop.
Right. Thank you for the alley-oop. I'm not good at that. Fuck, man. Like I've always been on edge with like any sort of racial jokes, but now even more so, where I'm just like, oh, dude, it's shut. I don't know what to do.
I make fun of like races and stuff like that, and I mean it's part of my experience. And so now I'm like, kind of worried because I'm like, I don't want people to feel like when you get into it, sometimes it's like too much, and then I feel like people are gonna be like, man, we've heard enough of this. Even like it's still important to talk about, but I feel like there's gonna be crowds that are gonna be like, I don't want to keep hearing this.
Well, I think it's just going to be another subject that's added to like the ever-growing list of things people will only accept listening to if it's like a great joke.
Yeah.
Even then, because I mean, I think going to comedy shows whenever that happens again regularly, I think that it's an escape, and if you escape from the headlines, like you're going to a club, you put your phone on silent or you turn it off or whatever, and then the comics are just going like, hey, you know those 7 subjects that you're exhausted by? Here's my hot takes on all of them. And you're like, okay. Like, but at the same time, I mean, a lot of the things should be discussed, and comedy is a good way to get viewpoints and kind of get it under the radar.
Exactly, man. We're like the people that talk about the tough shit but make you laugh about it a little bit at least.
Yeah, man, we're very important.
Yeah, like some would say we're essential workers. You know what I mean?
You can say that. Allison is still here. Some would say that. I think you're one of the some.
What I'm saying, please help me make money again is what I'm saying.
Dude, yeah, I think it's essential that I'm able to tell jokes to make money again. That's for sure. Well, so I'm gonna do a better job of segueing. You're not a huge fan of weed.
No, so that's actually, so we've had plenty of conversations about this.
Yeah.
I used to be a huge fan of weed. I was like a big fan of edibles, sativas, or no, actually I don't really like sativas too much. I like indicas because couch makes you chill. I loved indicas and hybrids with primarily indica base, but the thing is, it was a celebration night, and I got super drunk first. I probably drank like a 1/5 of a Hennessy Pure White. It was close to a 1/5. Like by the time I drank like a 1/2 of a 1/5 of Hennessy Pure White to celebrate, and then we went out and we kept drinking. And then, what was that?
What were we celebrating?
Oh yeah. So the show was my show was Drunken Night Out, but it was originally called Inebriated, Hydrated, and Faded, where comics get high and then some comics get drunk and then they come back and do improv. And you just kind of just like the crowd gets to tell the comics what the joke about. And so we got a sponsor, and it was a significant amount of money. And so we were celebrating.
Hell yeah.
That was like the big celebration, and I celebrated, like go big or go home, and sometimes go home hallucinating, so like that
You're pretty drunk, and then what'd you do?
And so I went out and we were hanging out, and everybody was like, yeah, let's go to the next spot. So we go and we're going to hang out at a club, and I'm still drinking at this point. Like I was drinking like I was in college again, which I was not. So, and I kept drinking, and then somebody came in and they're like, hey, I got some edibles. And I was like, I love doing edibles when I'm already drunk. And so that's my favorite thing in the world. I love getting crossfaded, especially with edibles. And so
edibles being the like crossfading factor. Because I always think it's better to get high first and then drink on top of it, because like the escalation, man.
No, I like getting drunk first and then doing the weed on top of that. And so that was like my go-to, especially with edibles. And so I was like, oh, edibles, I'm game. Let's do it. And then they put the cookies down, they're homemade cookies. And and I was like, oh, cool, cookie. I'm also drunk, so I got the drunchies. And I was like, cool, I'm going to eat this cookie. And I ate the whole cookie. And then they were like, dude, that was a lot of weed. And I was like, y'all are pussies. And then I took the cookie and I broke it in half and ate the other half of the cookie. And then within 20 minutes, I got high as shit. Like I was so immediately, I felt the high happening, which has never happened before. And then I was like, I got to go to the bathroom. And so I go into the bathroom and the lights are off in the bathroom, which to this day, I don't know if they were off or on. They could have been on actually. But in my head, they were off. And
Did
so
you just blink for an extended period of time?
might have been it actually.
You might have just walked in, just closed your eyes, and been like, "Man, this is a fucked up bathroom right now." Like,
what if I never went in the bathroom and it was just a long ass blink?
What did you do in the bathroom?
So I go to the bathroom and I'm like, I gotta pee really bad because I've been drinking a lot. So I'm peeing, and then as I'm peeing, it's like a long pee, and I was like, oh man, am I still peeing right now, or is this a hallucination? Because there's no lights, I can't see if pee is coming out or not, so I cannot confirm or deny whether or not this pee was still happening. And then I was like, fuck, I don't know if I'm still peeing. It doesn't feel like I would be peeing for this long. This seems like it's too much time that has elapsed in this bathroom. And then I was like, I'm just gonna leave. And so I just clipped it off, I'm guessing, or maybe I wasn't peeing. It could have. It's not like I had like a chip bag clip. I just I used the muscles inside my body. Like there wasn't. I shouldn't have said clip it off.
Yeah, man. That phrase really made a lot of, mostly one part of me uncomfortable, but other parts as well.
Yeah, that wasn't a phrase. I don't think that's the terminology that people use for that either.
For sure.
And so then I leave the bathroom, and then at this point I was like, oh, I'm high. I don't want to interact with anybody. And so I just was like, I'm going to speed walk out of this place. And I didn't say bye to anybody, and I just literally sped walk out of the place.
Oh, dude, I wish someone saw you. Like, they walked in, you're just eyes closed. And then you just pinch your dick for a while, clipping it off, and then you're just like, I got to go.
Yeah.
Like out the door, not saying nothing to nobody.
Straight beeline to the door. I didn't say bye to anybody, and people were like, later the next day, people text me like, "Yo, what was going on?" But so I beeline to the door, and as I'm leaving the door, I see my Jeep parked out. I always in the spot that's not a parking spot, right in front of the club, and so I got to the car, and as I went to put my keys in the door, for whatever reason, instead of just using the clicker to unlock the door, I reached through time and space. So I turned to Doctor Strange, and then and I was like, oh no, that was weird. And then I was like, fuck it, I gotta get home. I don't give a fuck about this time shit. And
Yo, I don't give a fuck about time.
and then as I go to grab my steering wheel, I reach through time again, but my hand is like this, and I'm like, oh no. And I'm like moving time and like fast forwarding, rewinding, fast forwarding, rewinding. And then I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna make it home. And then I turned the car on and I drove home, which I have no memories of driving home. Not a single memory. And then I freaked out and I went to bed that night. It was hard to go to bed because I was terrified.
You freaked out once you got home.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know what happened. That was weird, and I still feel very high. And so I was like, I'm just gonna go to bed. And I cried a little bit for 30 minutes, and then I went to bed. And I vowed to not do weed again.
You've since broken that vow, right?
I have since broken that vow.
Good. We've had many discussions about this, about how you're like, I don't like weed, and I was like, well, tell me the time you got too high, and you tell me the story, and I'm like, yeah, man, you shouldn't be hammered before you take too much weed, and maybe you'll still like weed. Like,
It was a good time. Learning experience. That's what life is about. You live and you learn and you grow. That's
yeah, I mean, true, but also the amount of times I was like, maybe just don't do it exactly the same way again. You're like, no, it's always terrible. I'm like, oh.
And every time before that had been amazing. And that time I was like, nope, that ruined it forever. I don't want to do this again.
I'm
We
sure.
became the devil.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, man. Because sometimes, like, if you drink a certain alcohol and then you have like a bad experience with it, anytime you smell it afterwards, you're just like, "Oof, nope, no, thank you."
Not
So
at all.
you just,
Not
anytime
at
you
all.
look at, anytime you saw some cookies, did you get uncomfortable?
No, it was anytime somebody had weed, I would like clutch my purse like a white woman when I'm crossing the street.
Clutch your purse, clip off your dick. Oh my, that's fantastic, man. All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna, if you want to go do what you're gonna do, I'm gonna do the next segment, and then I'll bring both you and Allison back, and we'll go through some high stories together. Sound good?
Oh yeah.
Cool. All right, this next segment, something I've been doing, I've been going back and watching movies since I've had a lot of downtime, and I feel like it's fun to try to sum up some of my favorite movies from when I was a kid and do it as quickly as possible. I got 1:30 left. I haven't actually watched Braveheart again. I'm trying to do this from memory, so if I get it wrong, guess what? It's definitely my fault. Let's fucking go. Okay, so Braveheart is about Mel Gibson, and he has long hair, and they're just like, hey, we don't like the British, they're not coming, the British are already here, they're here, we don't want them here, we wear skirts, they tell us that we are stupid for wearing skirts, but we want to keep wearing skirts, I want to marry this lady, but turns out to make people stay in power, they're like, hey, you get to have sex with a girl, and then they do that, and then the Scottish are like, you don't do that, I don't like it, that's my last, I don't know if they say that, they might say that, I'm not sure, but either way, Braveheart is just like, ooh, no, I don't like it, I'm going to get secret married, so you can't have sex with my wife, and then, but the guy's like, and he finds out, and then he does have sex, and then Braveheart gets really mad, and he's like, I'm gonna put blue in my face, and you're gonna be sorry. And then they are, and then he fights a lot, and there's a lot of skirts, and then they kill. There's a lot of horses that die, and then the king is just like, oh, I'm pretty grumpy about this, but I got like this young wife, and she's like, I don't know, he seems kind of nice, and then the king's like, no, he's not. We got to kill all the Scottish, and they do that for a while. There's a lot of scenes where they're just like, hey, we got the skirts, and the guys are like, we got broadswords, and we got knights and horses, and they're like, but we still got skirts, and then they fight a bunch, and then eventually William Wallace, he sleeps with the king's wife, I think, and then she's like, I'm going to try to fix it, but then he gets captured because he got a betrayer, and the guy later regrets it, the betrayal, and then William Wallace he's captured, and then he's like being tortured, and there's like, you just need to say my bad, and he's like, I'm never going to say my bad, and he yells freedom, and everyone's like, that's the word for America, but also this is the original America, and then they won their freedom. And it's such a stupid game. Sometimes I like to try to plan these out and like think them through, and then sometimes I'm like, yo, man, let's just see what your brain does, and then my brain does that. I'm 34. All right, let's bring everyone back so we can move on with our lives. I hope you guys enjoy that. If you do have a specific movie you would like me to do, please message me or mail us at the show. Brandon, what's the email again that people can say? Wait, what with Luke at Gmail?
Yep.
Cool. And also, if you guys have your own high stories, please submit them as well at waitwhatwithluke at Gmail. And we could read them. They'll be anonymous on a future show, and that'll be fun. All right, cool. Let's get Allison and Ken back in. It's a good smile, Allison. That's a good smile.
I'm sorry. I am just thinking about how Braveheart is like the Mean Girls, but for dudes, and you guys just reference it all the time. And like hearing you summarize it in the way, I just wish I had saved. Brandon, I need you to send me that clip so I can just, anytime a guy asks me if I've seen Braveheart, I'm like, yes, and I just play that, and that's it.
How often? I have not heard anyone talk about Braveheart in like years. It's not that much.
No, that's like a thing. That's at least among women that I know. They're like, why do so many dudes love Braveheart?
It's not. I mean, like, it's a good movie, but it's like I don't like. It's not something I'm gonna be like, hey, you remember that film where that white guy fought those other white guys? And
it was life changing, apparently, for a generation of young men.
I mean,
like Skyrim. If I hear Braveheart or Skyrim, I'm just like, same thing.
The fuck you got wrong with Skyrim?
All right,
dude. All right. Anyways, Ken, I'm upset with Allison right now. So talk shit about Braveheart. That's fine, but you shit on Skyrim. That is Elder Scrolls 5, dude. Is it 5 or is it 4? I don't know. Either way, Bethesda's bullshit. I have thoughts. We don't need to share them here. Let's read the stories. All right, we got 2 stories to go through. You guys feel free to jump in, riff around, let's fuck around with it. And these are anonymous. Okay, the first story, story 1. I was back in my hometown for winter break in my freshman year at college. Some of my friends had a party at the Red Roof Inn. Oh, badass.
Yeah, it's fun.
We were drinking and smoking. My ex-girlfriend was at the party. That's not ideal. And she was crazy as fuck. Oh, you sound like a fun guy. An hour after I got to the party, she told me that she had to take her friend back home and asked if I wanted to go. I said, sure. You said she's crazy as fuck, and you're going along. Okay, all right.
His ex asked him if he wanted to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, this sounds bad setup for a story right now.
The male brain doesn't move from the dick to the head until he's 25, so that's why.
Oh, excuse me. Have you seen Braveheart? There's plenty of... I jumped in the back seat and we were off. By that point, I'd already drunk half a bottle of Jack and smoked 2 blunts.
My man.
Yeah. I was feeling nice.
Yeah.
We dropped her friend off and my ex stopped for gas. As soon as we got back in the car, she asked me, do you want to drive?
That's buddy. She doesn't want the DUI. She's like, you get the DUI. I already hate you. Like,
oh, dude, for sure. She's like,
get some. I don't care.
Being an irresponsible 19-year-old, I said, yeah, why not? Laws. I jumped in the driver's seat and drove out of the gas station. As soon as we hit the road, she asked, what do you want?
What?
Roadhead.
All right, Allison's guy, you got to keep her.
Okay, I have not read these. At all. And I love this. But the very next sentence is, my ex started to give me roadhead.
I give myself 5 points.
Allison read the story?
No, I was going to say, I give myself 5 points for that one, though. There we go.
Deserve 5 points. We were 2 blocks from the party, and I glanced into the rearview mirror. There I saw flashing lights. My ex jumped up and told me to pull over. The police officers pulled us over in the parking lot of the Red Roof Inn. The one officer came to the driver's side and asked me to step out of the vehicle. As soon as I stepped out, my pants fell to my ankles.
Was he still hard, Luke? Was he still hard?
You know what? If his pants fell down, I think he might not have been hard. That'd be funny as fuck. Like, you don't get your belt on, but it's just fucking holding it up. You're like, the two officers started to laugh. They asked, "What were you doing?" My response, "Look at the passenger."
Wow.
Oh my god, that's so douchey.
Dude, that is like...
This is a white dude. I would
That
never
guy was
say that
like-
in my
Yeah, that guy was in like suck my dick a house fraternity or some shit. Not even.
Cops pull him over. He's outside. His pants around the ankle. And then they're like, "What are you doing?" He's just like, "Look at that over there."
In my head, it was him being like, "I was doing that." Like that is the thing I was doing.
He's
I
that
would've
fucked up where he's just like,
Oh, shit. Yeah.
all right. They peeked in and started to laugh even more. The officers started to search me and found about 6 grams of weed on me. Before they could finish asking me where I got it from, I told them that the weed was really good and they should keep it.
Jesus Christ.
That way they could let me go.
No.
So a bribe? He tries to bribe cops with weed?
Yeah, man.
If they arrest you, they're gonna keep the weed anyways.
Cassidy. Oh my god, this guy is for sure a white dude.
It doesn't say
It's
that,
just be
but-
like, "Hey officer, I'm important." He was like, "Hey officer, I got some pretty dank weed in my pocket."
Rush Kappa Sigma. Like,
That's hilarious. My brother's a Kappa Sigma.
I said that to my brother's a Sigma Chi. I was like, what's the other one?
All right. So, needless to say, they arrested me about an hour or two at the police station. I got bailed out, but I had no idea who. When I was released, my ex was there with her boyfriend. They had bailed me out. We get in the car. I sat in the back. Her boyfriend was driving. My ex smiled at me and started kissing her boyfriend on the lips.
I have so many questions. All right.
Right.
So this is the ex that was just giving him roadhead while he got pulled over?
Yeah.
So she called her current boyfriend to come pick her ex-boyfriend up.
Yes.
Breath smelling like fresh dick.
I mean, she might have chewed gum in that time. Like,
Man.
washed her mouth. I don't know. But yeah, for sure, another man's penis had been in her mouth in that time.
Kissed him in the mouth.
Yep. And then makes eye contact with the guy who owned the penis and then made out with her current boyfriend. And you remember earlier when he said she was crazy and I was like, this guy sounds cool. I think she might not be very nice.
My question is, when is domestic violence okay?
I'm going to answer that question with another question. Can I just not answer that question?
Luke looks like he's like, on Sundays when I got my beer in my hand.
Day that ends in day.
That is
Cancel me if I don't have it.
That is so ridiculous.
Yeah, that's rude.
I've never. Wow. This is the boy. He hasn't been like a cuck, right? Like a cuck. Is that the word? The cuck. The guys that like to watch the girls. That's the cuck. Was the whole.
No, I think the girl just has huge balls.
Yeah, she just is just like, hey man, I got what I wanted from you. I'm fucking this guy over in this way. Like she's just being like, she does not give a shit. She's just doing what she wants to do. She's like, I want to suck that dick. I want to kiss
like,
the dude.
It's like that, or to me, it almost seemed like she wanted to let her ex-boyfriend know that, like, hey, I remember last night, look what I'm gonna like do to him. It's like he's sucking your dick too, like trying to throw the power to her ex a little bit. But I don't know.
Anyway, it's a delightful story, and I feel like going to a party at a Red Roof Inn soon. All right, let's get to the second story.
Sure, it's not like a red basement in. That was
Red light district.
All right. The first time I bought medical marijuana in California was about 10 years ago. My friend was getting out of the Navy. We decided to make a road trip out of it. My friend was stationed in San Diego. The plan was to go from San Diego to LA to Las Vegas and then home. When we got to LA, we called a weed delivery service. They delivered a quarter of OG Kush. There were 4 guys in the car. No one really smoked. All right. But as we were rolling into Las Vegas, we thought it would be a great idea to smoke a joint. Probably not. As soon as we arrived, we checked in and met up with my friend who worked at the Hard Rock. She had hooked us up with a bachelor party going to a strip club. All right. We jumped on the party bus, high as a giraffe's pussy. I like how common that phrase.
Before that line, what just happened?
You've never heard that before?
No.
That's my favorite.
That's
I
like a
that
go-to
or
line.
Pterodactyl tit. That's my favorite too.
High as a pterodactyl's tit?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Also, I like that all pterodactyls' tits are like underground and decomposed for millions of years. So phonetically, it sounds nice, but factually, it's not very accurate, Ken. Nice try. Nice try. Giraffe's pussy is so much higher than pterodactyl tit. You sound absurd right now, dude. Absurd. Back to the story. Okay. All right. High as giraffe's pussy. As soon as we get to the strip club, I was hungry as fuck, so I ordered buffalo wings and mozzarella sticks. Of course. One of our friends started getting really friendly with one of the dancers. Gasp. As the night went on, the closer we got. I was sitting there belly full and my high was wearing off. That's when I heard the girl start screaming at my friend. The next thing I knew, she chucked a glass ashtray at his throat. It hit him directly in the Adam's apple. Do you have a thing with your Adam's apple, Ken? Like getting your throat touched at all?
I don't really pay that much attention to it. When I was younger, I used to like really like poke in there with my finger and try to like get back there. I don't know. I was a weirdo. But I don't think I cared too much.
Try to like
It's just weird to me because it's like it's not like a seamless thing. It's like this. It's just weird to me that we have Adam's apples. I don't know why. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. You know what I mean? Like it's just a weird like bone in your
wobbly thing that's like not anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like Adam's apple touching. Like getting hit in the throat with an ashtray, I would be like, well, that was definitely a low part of my week.
No, that's freaking me out hearing that. Like,
yeah. I actually like kudos to the stripper for that accuracy. Like that is.
Yeah. Are the ashtrays there for the cigarettes, but also just as projectiles? Like in their spare time, do they just like practice throwing ashtrays just to be like, yo, man, there's nothing else. I got no clothes on.
Dude, she wins every single time. She's tossing shit, dodging shit.
Yeah, she's just like twerking one butt cheek, just booty isolation, and just like ninja star to the throat.
She like has 3 in her fingers, throws them out like Chinese stars. It's 3 dudes sitting there, fucking jerking off in their sweatpants.
Yeah, I'm like that's impressive as shit. Cause like I spent a lot of time at strip clubs, and I've thrown up in strip clubs. I've done all kinds of crazy stuff, and I've never once had anybody throw anything at my throat. Like so, that is. It's like kudos to that stripper.
Very proud of you. Never getting your throat assaulted in a strip club. All right.
Upright citizen.
It hit him directly in the Adam's apple. My buddy couldn't breathe, and before he knew it, 2 humongous men were throwing us out of the club like we were DJ Jazzy Jeff and they were Uncle Phil.
That sucks.
Yeah, that's fast. That's swift.
That's very embarrassing. But on a positive note, that means that they possibly could have not paid for some services.
Get ready for the next sentence. The girl had taken my friend's credit card. The next morning, he got a notification that they charged him $500 at the club.
Oh.
He said, I still don't know what he said to her, but it wasn't worth $500.
Jesus.
I don't know, man.
$500.
I mean, it's a chunk of change, but also, man, like, if you're gonna get someone to get to the point where they physically assault you, I don't know, man. You might have been doing some dumb shit.
Yeah, I've definitely been with people. I've spent more than 500 at the strip club, so I know that can easily happen. But to not get me, okay, that's said not get anything out of it. That's like not what I wanted to say, but like to at least like lap dancing.
Dude, you broke up a little bit, so I didn't even hear what you said. So if it was terrible, it like never even happened. So say it again. Say
Damn
it again.
it, cancel Ken. Come on. Catch it.
Take away that career you don't even have right now.
Oh no, it's gonna take my $10.
They're coming for your job, Ken.
That's what I'm most worried.
Cool. All right, well, that was the final story. That's the show right there. I appreciate you guys being on here. If you guys enjoyed it, you can send donations. All of them will be sent to Black Lives Matter for this week. And then tomorrow, if you guys enjoyed Allison and Ken, they have their own show on this channel, The Big Laugh Comedy, and it'll be at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central Time. It's triple threat. I've done it twice. I'm last month's champion. So check that out. And bunch of I think I got it. And, yeah, thanks again for coming out, you guys. And be safe and all that fun. I don't know how to do sign-offs. And I'll see you guys again next week. And also send in your high stories if you want to be on the show and do that stuff. And tell your friends. We'll be back. Have a good night, you guys. Oh, and we're going to leave you with this thing. This is a thing that made me happy. Leave on a high note. Bye.